Have you ever wondered how tissue papers are made? In the grand scheme of life's mysteries, it might not top the list, but consider this. Tissue papers are a ubiquitous part of our everyday lives. From the napkins that grace our dining tables, to the tissues we reach for in emotional moments, and even the toilet paper that's a staple in every household, we interact with tissue paper in myriad ways without giving it a second thought. Yet, behind this simple, often overlooked product, lies an intricate dance of industry and engineering. A symphony of processes that transform humble raw materials into the soft, absorbent sheets we rely upon daily. It's a world where science, art, and practicality meet. A world filled with fascinating behind-the-scenes action that often goes unnoticed. So, the next time you reach for that tissue paper, remember there's more to it than meets the eye. Well, today we're going to unravel the fascinating process of tissue paper creation. The journey of tissue paper begins with its raw material, wood. Yes, that's right, the soft tissue that you use every day starts from a much harder source. The type of wood used in tissue paper production can vary. Softwood trees like pine, spruce, and fir are commonly used because they have long fibers that intertwine and create a strong yet pliable paper. Hardwood trees such as birch or gum can also be used, but their shorter fibers result in a smoother but weaker paper. After the right trees have been selected, they undergo the process of wood chipping. They are cut into small uniform chips, which are then sent off to be cooked into pulp. You might be wondering, cooked, like in a kitchen? Well, not exactly. The wood chips are cooked under intense heat and pressure in a digester, a large vessel, along with chemicals that help to break down the wood structure. This cooking process transforms the hard wood chips into a mushy, soup-like substance known as wood pulp. But we're not quite done yet. The wood pulp is then washed and screened to remove any leftover impurities. This is a crucial step, as any remaining bits of bark or dirt can affect the quality of the final product. The clean pulp is then bleached to remove any remaining lignin, a component of wood that can cause the paper to yellow over time. The result is a bright white pulp that is ready to be made into tissue paper. It's fascinating to think that the soft, delicate tissue we use to wipe our noses, dry our hands, and clean up spills started out as a strong, sturdy tree. It's a testament to the marvels of modern manufacturing and the transformative power of science. Now that we have our wood pulp ready, it's time to move on to the next stage. With our pulp at hand, we now enter the thrilling stage of transformation. It's time to metamorphose this pulpy blend into the soft, absorbent tissue paper we all know and love. The journey begins with the pulping process, where our wood pulp, a fibrous substance derived from trees, is mixed with water. This creates a thin, almost soupy pulp mixture. It's a delicate balance, as the amount of water used can influence the texture and strength of the final product. Too much water and we might end up with paper too weak to serve its purpose, but too little, and the paper might be too stiff and coarse for comfort. The pulp mixture is then spread onto a woven screen, allowing the water to drain away and leaving behind a mat of interwoven fibers. This mat is then pressed and compacted to form a thin layer. This is where the magic happens, where the transformation from a pulp to a paper begins to take shape. Now it's time to dry this layer. It's passed through heated rollers, which not only dries the paper but also compresses it. This process helps to increase the density of the tissue paper, making it stronger and more durable. But we don't want our tissue paper to be just strong, we want it to be soft and fluffy too. This is where the process of creeping comes in. A blade is scraped across the surface of the paper, creating tiny wrinkles and loosening the fibers. This gives the tissue paper that soft, pliable texture we all appreciate. And voila! What started as a simple pulp has now transformed into a sheet of tissue paper, ready to be cut, embossed, and packaged. But the journey doesn't end here. There are still a few more steps to go through before this paper can make its way to your home. So, we've transformed our pulp into paper, but we're not quite done yet. Now it's time for the finishing touches. Imagine a giant roll of tissue paper, fresh from the transformation process. It's smooth but lacks the familiar texture we're accustomed to. That's where embossing comes in. Embossing is the process that gives tissue paper its characteristic feel, and surprisingly, its strength. How does it work? Well, it's a fascinating process that involves two engraved steel rolls. These rolls press against each other, with the tissue paper sandwiched in between. The raised designs on the rolls are imprinted onto the paper, creating the pattern we know and love. But it's not just about aesthetics. This process also compresses the paper fibers, enhancing the tissue's durability and absorbency. Embossing also has a role in the ply of the tissue paper. If you've ever wondered why some tissue paper is 2-ply or 3-ply, It's because during embossing, layers of paper are bonded together. The more layers, the thicker and stronger the tissue paper. But we're not quite done yet. We have a giant roll of embossed tissue paper, but it's hardly in a usable form. We don't typically use tissue paper that's several feet wide, do we? So the next step is cutting. Cutting is just as it sounds. The large roll is cut into smaller, more manageable sizes. This is done with precision cutting machines that can handle the delicate nature of tissue paper. The machines slice the rolls into widths suitable for whatever the paper is intended for, be it facial tissues, toilet paper, or paper towels. So there you have it. From a giant roll of paper, we now have tissue paper that's not only the right size but also has the texture and strength we need. And just like that, we have our finished tissue paper. But how does it reach our homes? From the factory, the tissue paper embarks on its final journey to your home. Once the tissue paper has been embossed, cut, and is ready to go, it's time for the next exciting phase, packaging. This process is not as simple as you may think. It's a meticulously planned operation that ensures the tissue paper reaches you in perfect condition. First, the tissue paper is sorted based on its size and type. It could be packaged into boxes if it's facial tissue, or into rolls if it's bathroom tissue. Each box or roll is then wrapped in a protective film to keep it clean and free from damage. This film also provides an opportunity to brand the product, so when you're browsing the supermarket shelves, you can easily spot your favorite brand. Next, these individual units are grouped together into larger packs. This is usually done by machines that can package hundreds, even thousands of units in a single hour. These packs are then loaded onto pallets ready for transportation. This brings us to the distribution phase. The pallets are loaded onto trucks, and from there, they begin their journey to various destinations. Some may be headed to a nearby supermarket, while others could be on their way to a ship, destined for stores in a different continent. Every step of this distribution process is tracked and monitored. This allows the manufacturers to know where their product is at any given time, and to ensure it arrives at its destination on schedule. This sophisticated system is what makes it possible for you to find your favorite brand of tissue paper at your local store, no matter where it was produced. So, the next time you pull a tissue from a box or a roll, take a moment to appreciate the intricate journey it has taken. From the tree it originated from, through the complex processes of pulping, transformation, finishing, packaging, and distribution, each piece of tissue paper has a story to tell. And that, my friends, is the incredible journey of a tissue paper from a tree to your home. So, let's take a quick recap of our tissue paper's journey. We started in the intriguing world of tissue paper production, where the birth of tissue paper begins with the raw material. This raw material, often wood pulp, undergoes a transformation, a metamorphosis from wood chips into a pulpy substance, the first step in our tissue's journey. The pulp then enters the next stage, the transformation from pulp to paper. It's here that the pulp gets cleaned, bleached, and dried, transforming into a thin, flexible sheet of paper. The finishing touches are added in the form of embossing and cutting, giving the tissue paper its final shape and texture. From there, the tissue paper embarks on its final journey, the journey to your home. It gets packaged and distributed, traveling miles and miles to reach your local store, and finally, your hands. Next time you use a tissue paper, remember the intricate process it's been through to reach your hands. Until next time, stay curious.